Good morning, student. This is your computer teacher Sangeeta Paul. Now, today we will discuss the chapter Evolution of Computer. Now, students, have you ever wondered that why human beings are considered to be superior than other living animals on earth? It is because of their sense of thinking, creativity, logical ability, and socialization that makes them better than any other existing living animals of this world. Since the very beginning of its evolution, that is, ancient times, their abilities have led to various types of discoveries and inventions. They have always competed with their own inventions to shape up new things over the passage of time. In ancient time, counting was done with the help of fingers or by marking on trees or rocks. Next, hunting or farming was done with the help of tools that were made up of stones and pieces of woods. People could get articles by way of exchanging goods that they possessed, that is, transactions were based on barter system as there was no currency system. Information were both passed or transferred from one place to another with the help of sounds of drum or by lighting fire or sending pigeons, etc. A steady progress over a period of thousands of years, people designed ways and developed various devices that made life of the people easier and more comfortable. With exploration over years in medieval and recent times, people could purchase things through money or currency at goods in exchange. That is, barter system was replaced by currency system. Next, counting instrument and calculators were developed that could help in calculation. Weapons and equipments were developed for hunting and farming. Now, ways of communication improved as news and information were passed through telegrams, postman, and recently over telephones. But human mind keeps on exploring and developing things beyond the existing resources. He has a tendency to compete with himself. In recent years, he has mechanized the device that is computer, which helps in accomplishing different types of tasks in much more easier, organized and faster way. And that in turn has helped the human civilization to be more prosperous and progressive. Nowadays, goods can also be purchased online through the concept of e-banking or e-commerce. Payments can be made through credit or debit cards. Now, complex calculations can be done with the help of computer-based devices. Farming has been mechanized with modern tools, devices, and equipments like tractors, drip irrigation, etc. Conventional system of communication has been replaced with mobile phones and emails. Needless to say, this is the electronic age. It is common to find the use and application of the electronic devices like computer in almost every sphere of life. Computer can be defined as an electronic device which performs multiple types of tasks at a fast speed. It processes the given data to produce required result or information. This machine is becoming popular day by day and is enhancing the progress of human civilization to greater heights. However, when we grow through the evolution of computers, the device was not like the way it is today. Computer of today is an outcome of the development of different calculating methodologies and devices of the past that began with the invention of abacus in 3000 BC. Calculator and computer were assumed as synonyms. This is a diagram which shows the historical development of computer year-wise with the developers. Now let's start with abacus. Abacus consists of a rectangular wooden frame with iron rods and a divider with colored beads that are used for calculating and counting. The up and down movements of beads count the value of number. This device was first invented by the Egyptians and later it was developed by the Chinese and Japanese. It is said that abacus was the first mechanical calculating device of the world. Now, Napier Bones. During 1617, John Napier invented a calculating device for doing multiplication and division, which was originally made up of bones. The bones were placed side by side for multiplication purpose. The device was called as Napier Bones. Napier also introduced the concept of decimal point to separate numbers in integers and decimal part. Next is Pascaline adding machine. In 1642 AD, Blaise Pascal, a French mathematician, invented calculating machine called Pascaline. It was made up of wheels and gears that were connected together and could perform addition and subtraction by rotating the wheels. Each wheel had 10 tooth of numbers, that is from 0 to 9. Numbers were fed into the machine by dialing them on the wheels. This device is believed to be the first calculator of the world. Next is Jacquard loom. During 1801 to 1805, Joseph J. Jacquard, a French textile manufacturer, developed the means of controlling the weaving needles of looms by using punched cards. The needles could pass through the cards in between the holes that were kept at several places. The Jacquard loom showed a method as to how to store information on punch cards at that time. Now, Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage was an English mathematician. In 1822, he designed a machine called difference engine. It was meant for the purpose of calculation and making mathematical tables. But the technology at that time was not so advanced, so this engine could not be made properly, and hence Babbage had to give up his project after spending a huge amount of money and time. In 1833 to 1834, Charles Babbage designed another machine which worked with the help of steam power. He named it as Analytical engine. Analytical engine is said to be the first automatic general purpose digital computing device. Its concept became the base for further development of computer. For this contribution to computing, Charles Babbage is known as the father of computer. Now, Eniac, the electronic numerical integrator, and calculator, that is Eniac, is officially said to be the first valve based electronic computer. It was developed during 1943 at Moore School of Electrical Engineering, University of Pennsylvania, USA, by a team of Professor John Presper Eckert Jr. and John W. Mostley. It was huge in size and consumed heavy electrical power. About 19,000 vacuum tubes were used to run it. ENIAC was so big that it required space of about 1800 square feet to accommodate itself. Now student, let's discuss the characteristics of computer. A computer has many characteristics because of which it is being applied in many fields to generate different types of solution. The invention of information machine, that is computer, has led to the betterment in almost every aspect of our life. But have you ever analyzed about its characteristics that make it to do so? But let's us have a look into the characteristics that makes it such a wonderful machine. First is speed. Computer works at a very high speed. It is much faster in comparison with human beings. A modern computer can process millions of instructions in a second. Its speed is measured in MIPS, that is millions instructions per second. Next is diligence. Computer never gets tired and can work efficiently for hours at a stretch unless and until there is a technical fault. Versatility. A computer can perform multiple kinds of jobs with different types of data and can produce information in different types like audio, video, text, etc. and can provide solution at different types of places like in schools, hospitals, etc. Next is accuracy. Computer is an accurate machine. It never makes mistakes and work exactly according to the instructions given to it. A modern computer has detection techniques also, through which errors can be detected and corrected easily. Next is high storage capacity. Computer has a very huge memory space. It can store huge amount of data which can be retrieved as and when required. It can store large amount of information in a very small space. Next is secrecy. A computer can also act like a safe vault. It can store the important information which cannot be accessed by unauthorized users. Next is calculative. A computer can do any type of calculation, be it arithmetic or logical. Let's start now with the limitation of computer. A computer is very useful, but it cannot replace human as it has certain limitation. That is, number 1, it cannot think on its own. It has to be guided or instructed by the user. Next, number 2, it has no sentiments. Number 3, it has only artificial intelligence. It cannot learn from the past experience. Number 4, it has no learning power. For each and every work, it needs to be configured. Now, Let's start with the application of computer. A computer is a wonderful machine. It has many features which makes it a single machine that replaces different devices and also human beings at many places. It is an electronic device that helps in accomplishing thousands of tasks. Now let's start with the application. Now, children at schools, computer helps in fee collection at the fee counter. It demonstrates about various topics of different subjects with the help of virtual or digital classroom, which includes projectors, smart boards, etc. It helps in result preparation. Now, at hospitals, it is used to diagnose several diseases of patients. It used to keep records of patients. It used in microsurgery, which helps to recover from wounds, cuts very quickly. Next is at business houses. It helps for writing letters and other documents. It used for maintaining accounts and other records. It helps for printing bills. In railways, it helps for booking tickets and to display information about different routes of train, seat availability, etc. At police station, it helps to track the location of criminals through their mobile and also to review the records of criminals with their list of crimes. Now, in defense, it used to track the movement of incoming missiles and also used in mapping and plotting. In banks, it helps for maintaining accounts of all the customers and also for keeping records of banking activity, for preparation of financial statement and also for withdrawal of money through ATM. Now, for recreation, it is used to add special effects to enhance the visual of movies like in Hanuman, Avatar, Kung Fu Panda, Delhi Safari, etc. It is used in making video games, movies, recording sounds, etc. And also used to broadcast television programs. In science and research field, it helps for making robots, for weather forecasting, for launching of satellites, for keeping records of different research and experiments done in labs. Publishing houses, it is used for designing contents of books, newspaper, etc. and also helps in doing publication work faster. Let's start with the working stages of computer. To accomplish a task in a computer, first you have to give data in the form of orders or instructions input to the computer so that the computer can work, that is process, according to the instructions and produce the desired result, that is the output. While doing so, the given problem data is processed in the computer to produce the desired result. Here, the word problem may be raw facts, input questions, or queries, and the desired result can be termed as information. The activities performed on a computer follow a particular order. So, a computer can be defined as an electronic device which processes the input data to convert it into a meaningful and useful information. All data and instructions that are fed into the computer are known as input. The data can be unorganized information, numbers, characters, words, etc. that are processed, and whatever is received in the form of result or information is known as output. The device which are used to enter data, that is by which you can feed input or instruction into the computer, are known as input devices. The device which works on or processes the input data is known as processing device, and the devices that show the results are termed as output devices. Let's start with the input devices. First is keyboard. Keyboard is a standard input device. A keyboard contains alphabetical keys A to Z, number keys 0 to 9, function keys F1 to F12, some other character keys, that is the symbol keys, and special keys like enter, backspace, delete, shift, control, etc. that perform significant tasks. By typing with the help of a keyboard, one can feed data into the computer. Next is mouse. Mouse is a handheld pointing device. It is usually in U shape, which fits in the palm of a user. It has two buttons and a scroll wheel on its upper side. It is used to draw pictures or to move objects on the computer screen. It moves on a flat surface. Nowadays, optical mouse is commonly used, and an optical mouse detects movement with the help of optical sensor instead of wheel inside the mouse. Now, cordless mouse man is the first wireless mouse which was developed by Logitech. Next is joystick. Joystick is a pointing device. It is used to play games on the computer. It has a long handle which can be moved in four different directions to point or move the objects quickly across the screen. Joysticks provides better control than other input devices and thus makes it easier to play games. Next is scanner. Scanner is also an input device. It takes the image like photograph of a picture or the text and transforms into digital image. The scanned image gets stored in computer's memory for further use. Next is barcode reader. A barcode reader is used to read the barcodes. Such devices are often seen in billing counters of supermarkets and retail stores, where they are used to scan products barcode for fetching the price and product details. Next is the processing device. Once data is sent to the computer, it is processed in the CPU, that is, Central Processing Unit. It processes according to the instructions given to it and produces the desired results. The entire processing of computer is done inside CPU. CPU is known as the brain of computer. Let's start with the output devices. Monitor or video, that is visual display unit. Monitor is an output device which looks like a TV. It displays the messages or other inputs as entered by a user and displays the result as generated by the CPU in the form of output. Common types of monitor are CRT, that is cathode ray tube, LCD, that is liquid crystal display, LED, that is light emitting diodes. Next is the printer. Printer is a commonly used output device. It prints the result on the paper. It is used to obtain the hard copy of the results, that is the output displayed on the screen. Now, the information in printed form on the paper or sheet is termed as hard copy. Now, children, let's see this video.
History of computers. Learning about the history of computer. Hello friends, have you ever wondered who invented the computer? Well, the computer was not invented by one single person. The term computer was originally given to the people who had to do a lot of calculations. But this job was very boring. They had to repeat the same type of calculation all the time. Therefore, scientists tried to invent a machine that can perform the task of computing repetitively, accurately, and fast. The machine we call computers today are the result of many years of work by many people. Let us explore the history of computers right from the early days. Early counting. Ancient people used their fingers, stones, and sticks for counting or made scratches on a wall to keep count of their animals. Sometimes they even tied knots in a rope to record information. You know that the numbers 0 to 9 are called digits? But did you know that the word digit actually refers to a finger or toe? The first tools used by men to count were his own fingers. Abacus. The abacus was the first calculating device created by man. The abacus was used about 2300 years ago by the Babylonians. Later, it was developed in China. The abacus has a wooden frame which is divided into two parts by a horizontal bar. These parts have vertical wires with beads on them. These beads are used for counting and calculating. The abacus is still used as a calculating device in many advanced countries like Japan and Russia. One can do very big calculations very quickly using an abacus. Napier's Bones. About 400 years ago, John Napier, a Scottish mathematician, invented a calculating machine which was made by a set of rods carved from bones. Hence, it was named as Napier's Bones. These rods were used to do multiplication. Pascaline. In the year 1642, Blaise Pascaline, a French mathematician, invented the first Gare device calculating machine, which is called Pascaline. The device that existed before the Pascaline were purely manual calculating devices. The Pascaline was the first calculating device that used machines called gears. The gears are a set of toothed wheels connected to each other. The Pascaline could only add and subtract numbers. Punched card. In 1801, a French textile weaver named Joseph-Marie Jacquard invented a way of automatically controlling the threads on a silk loom. It had a long row of wooden cards, which a series of holes punched into it in a pattern. The loom could automatically read the designs from the cards and weave accordingly. This revolutionized the weaving industry. This loom was known as Jacquard's loom. Charles Babbage and his analytical engine. In 1833, an English mathematician, Charles Babbage, designed a machine that could do complicated calculations and store the results at each stage. It was called the Analytical engine. It was the first mechanical computer. Since this machine laid the basic of modern computers, Charles Babbage is known as the father of computer. Lady Ada Lovelace. Lady Ada Lovelace is called as the first programmer in the computer history. She was the first to introduce the concept of programming, that is, how a machine could be made to follow a series of instructions. Mark I. Howard Aiken was the man to develop the first computer that ran on electricity. It was known as Mark I. This was the general-purpose computer which was as big as a hall, 8 feet height and 51 feet long. ENIAC. In 1946, the first all-electronic computer, the Electronic Integrator and Calculator, that is ENIAC, was invented by John P. Eckert and John W. Mauchly. The ENIAC cost millions of dollars, occupied a whole room, and could do 100 calculations in a second. The present computer took its gradually from these early computers. Difference between electrical and electronic machine. An electronic machine has many small parts which can use small electrical circuits to do their work. These parts are called electronic parts. A computer is fitted with many electronic parts, so a computer is also an electronic machine. On the other hand, electrical machines are those that use electricity to turn but do not have the ability to control small circuits. Examples of electrical machines are heaters, fans, and lights in our house. Summary. We have learned about the history of computer in this lesson. Keep learning, students. Bye-bye.